Dr. Gregory Horton here, three-time Olympic medalist and world champion in track and field. I was looking at the Leon Bailey situation with the JFF, and I am hoping that they will do their very best to bring this dilemma under control. Now, if I had access to the president and the chair, I would definitely reach out to them individually to let them know that this dilemma, this issue, this situation can get ugly, and it is in their best interests. It is also in Leon's best interest to resolve this as soon as possible. So the reason I'm doing this video today, because the aim is to help JFF and Leon Bailey to resolve this issue in the most applicable way. If this issue is not addressed and resolved in an amicable way, then it might set a bad precedent as we move forward. So I want Leon and the JFF to understand that this is a very sensitive issue, especially in a time like this. And why do I say that it is a sensitive issue? Because right now we will explore into areas where people's credibility will be at stake. The integrity of Jamaica's football will be at stake. The longevity of an athlete's future is at stake. The future of Jamaica's football is at stake, and also the future of the players, young and old, are at stake, because as I said earlier, the precedent that is set will determine how we move forward at a later point in time. The future depends on us doing it the right way. I am sure we can go back in time and we can look at similar situations that popular opinion might be that they were not addressed in an honest way, and now we can get a new start. So it is my hope that we can have a fresh start. We can use this situation with whatever disagreement that is out there now, and we can bring it to the forefront to show other Caribbean islands how we address issues moving forward. So what is the function of the JFF? Let's look at that real quick. It is to identify talent. It is to nurture those talents that they identified early. It is to develop these talents, and it is to showcase the talents that are developed. And most important, it's to manage these talents, because when you manage these different individuals from different walks of life, different geographical areas, then you find that managing these talents require great skills. Now, as the president of the JFF, Mr. Ricketts, said clearly that he is not able to represent Jamaica on the football field, but as the leader of the organization, he can make sure that these talents are managed properly. So in the process of managing these talents, rules and guidelines must be followed. Some people believe that the JFF is inconsistent in how they set their rules and guidelines, and they're saying that if we can do it right this time around, maybe there might be a difference in how people see them. And as I said earlier, I do understand from the athlete viewpoint where Leon is coming from, because I too found myself in these deep waters, and swimming in these deep waters can be very, very risky. So I am truly hoping that both Leon and the JFF will come to some agreement and move forward, because as I said earlier, people's reputation is at stake. The country's reputation is at stake, because even though I don't play football, some people call it soccer, it is a representation of who we are when we go out in public forums. So what is the role of the leader in the JFF? The role of the leader is to be fair. The role of the leader is to be understanding, to be compassionate in some situations, and to maintain order. Now, I know that sometimes it can be difficult to maintain the type of order that is required to keep and manage these talents to the best of one's ability. But we who are in leadership positions, we must make sure that we are mentors to the younger ones. And when I look at Leon, who is only 21 going on 22, it is saying that those people who are in charge need to have some compassion in terms of how they approach the situation. They need to be fair. They need to be understanding, because we expect young people to make some mistakes. So I'm calling on the older men to be leaders. Don't do what Leon did, because I see now where some of you are taking the situation to the media, and when you speak to the media in regards to these things, I can still hear the passion, I can still hear the frustration, I can still hear the disappointment. And when we address situations such as these, when we are frustrated and when we are disappointed, normally the outcome may not be as expected. As I said before, I found myself being barred from competing at the World Cup for the region, and it was something for me, it was something that made me extremely angry. But as I got older, I started to look at the situation and realize that I too had a part to play in my demise. So we need these older men to be mentors. We need them to lead by example and put aside the ego, to start treating these youth as if they were their own sons and grandsons. And this is one of the issues that I find, that some of those leaders who are in leadership position, who should manage these talents, because they don't see you as a part of their family, sometimes the way they address situations can be a little bit rough and rugged. So I want those leaders, those older men who are to be mentor to Leon, I want you to see him as a son, a grandson. And look at it this way: if your son or your grandson misbehave in public, what are you going to do? Are you going to scold him in public? Or are you going to wait until he or she reaches home to address the situation? And this is how I hope that moving forward, the leaders in the JFF will address this situation. My suggestion to you all is this: take this situation or issue or circumstance out of the public forum. Deal with it internally. Do not make any more public statement as it relates to Leon and the punishment, the sanction that you're going to put down on him. I would suggest that you make it a private matter. I want you also to put away the ego. Call him, talk with him, explain to him where he went wrong, how he went wrong, and what he could do to remedy the situation. We as older men, we should be leaders, we should be mentors, we should understand that young people will always make mistakes. Help them to understand how to approach things the right way, and support them as they go along with this. And as I said before, I hope that both parties can take the time to sit to discuss this, because at the end of the day, the only purpose right now is to make sure that the team is eligible to play in the next World Cup tournament. Everything else should be secondary. So I'm hoping that the JFF and Mr. Leon Bailey will see the need to come together, because whether you like it or not, you guys are partners. And moving forward, we want to make sure that the best interests of the JFF and the players are addressed in the most applicable way. I am Dr. Gregory Horton. Have a blessed day.